Starfield just proved. Starfield does show how big video games are getting. The Starfield update that I'm looking at right now, it has 500 bug fixes. 500 bug fixes. I just tried to give it a test read. It took me 44 minutes just to get through two paragraphs of fixes. That's how big this list is. Took me 44 minutes. So yeah, Starfield is big, and Starfield is showing how big video games are getting, and how much work these developers are putting into those games, and how much work that they put in when it comes to updating these games. Starfield just proved that. So, you know, people that were getting mad at EA over Anthem and Crystal Dynamics, I'm not gonna give them a pass, because the Avengers should have been an open world game. Should have been more open. Okay, the Avengers, Redfall, and Suicide Squad. Those 4 games. Starfield just show you how much work these developers are putting into these games. It just did. When you have 500 bug fixes, look, I was trying to read through this thing, and it took me 44 minutes just to get through the first 2 paragraphs of updates, because it was that big. Yeah, and I would have to read it on my own, but the list is big. It is very big. 500 bug fixes, and what this update is showing is how big video games are getting, how much work these developers are putting in, and how much it costs to make video games. This update list is big, man. it is really big, man. 500 bug fixes, and you know, people that be getting mad at developers when it comes to games, they need to tone it down a little bit, man, because when you see this list and how big it is, it took me 44 minutes to get through the first two paragraphs, and the first 2 paragraphs of those updates were huge. So yeah, I was doing this if I could get through it. But it is big, man, and yeah, Starfield is showing that these developers are putting a lot of work into these games, man. You know, I mean, if you look at all the games that came out, I would say from the 360, PS3, Xbox One, PS4. It's a lot of work, and now the Xbox Series X, PS5. It's a lot of work these developers put into these games, you know. So when you see people on Twitter throwing tantrums and hissy fits about certain games, they really don't know the amount of work that these developers put into these games. When you see this list, you will understand why. It took me 44 minutes just to get through the first 2 paragraphs, man. It was big. Oh, by the way, hello people. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your 5 senses work. Health and strength is good. Or excellent. What? Starfield. The update is big, man. 500 bug fixes, and I'm sitting there reading through the list after I completed the first 2 paragraphs, man. I said, and I looked at the clock. I said, nah, this is too big. That's too big, man. That's a big list. So when you have 1,000 planets, and it shows how much work Bethesda put into those games, into their games, you know, and you know, Starfield is gonna bounce back. You know, it's gonna bounce back, but this shows the amount of work that CD Projekt Red had to do when it comes to Cyberpunk to get it back to where it needed to be. Starfield is going to do the same thing. It's going to bounce back. So when you have 500 bug fixes, yeah, that's saying a lot. So yeah, 500 bug fixes, man. That's a lot. Look, this is what the paragraph said. Let's see if I can get through this. This list is big, man. Very big. I can read the four comments. I can read the four comments, but those updates. Oh man, you're gonna be sitting there for a good minute. Somebody said, let me see what they say in the comments here. Actually, let's see here. It says here, Starfield Steam Beta has Digipick's changes, photo mode, upgrades of bug fixes. And then it has four comments, but it says, just as promised, Bethesda has pushed out a new quote on, just as promised, Bethesda has pushed out a new update, I say quote, to the beta branch of Starfield. Steam players can now update to build to try out the latest changes with this. Which includes a massive list of bug fixes. And then it says one of the highlights of this update is a change to how Digipicks work when lockpicking. Players will find that undoing a move during the lockpicking security minigame will no longer use a Digipick, making it an easier and cheaper task. Photo mode is also getting an update with expression and poses for the players, and companions being available for taking snaps across the universe. Here are the features. And then it says photo mode adds the ability to set expressions and poses on players and companions. Scanners, you can now open doors and harvest with scanners open. Setting course on the inactive quest will now take it active quest. Added support for adjusting FOV when using third person ship view. Added anisotropic filtering quality slider. PC. Remove the Digipick's cost for using undo during the security minigame. Added an autosave when fast traveling from a planet's surface to orbit. Update the ship user interface to perform more smoothly at higher frames. And then it says over 500 bug fixes are included in the beta this time. And this list is big. When I say big, when you see this list for yourself, you're gonna be like, "Wow, Chris wasn't lying." It's big. But I'm just going to go through the comment to see what people say on this, because Bethesda put some work into this. It says one person here says hold up so you can just pick away and undo squares one if you're wrong. Doesn't that basically remove all challenges from lockpicking? And then someone else here says the challenge with lockpicking is putting up with it all. I hate it, but being a digital pick, I don't see how it could consume anyway. Physical picks sure makes sense that they can break. It says I opted to install a mod which bypassed lockpicking automatically, opening a lock. Provided I have the skill and a lockpick, I feel much happier for it. Someone else here says, this is what the game needs. And then another person here says, that's a lot of fixes. Hopefully after this they can add new content with the next one. I am in the middle of my NG playing through and waiting for new stuff to do. Yeah. 500 bug fixes, man. This list is big. Look, I read the first two just for practice, just to see if I could do it. You know, and it took me 44 minutes. I'm like, wow. Only people that love to read this stuff could like sit there and watch me read it for the entire thing. But it is big. Let's see, which one did I read? I read art. And then I read, and art update fixes is big. And then I read, I read gameplay, and gameplay fixes was update was even big. So yeah, when I got through it, it took me 44 minutes, and then I looked and I'm like, only someone that enjoys reading, man, would sit there for that long of a time to read through the entire thing. But yeah, the update is big. I mean, graphics got a big list. Oh my, Outpost, yeah, Outpost is small. But let's see, Outpost is small, but what's this one? Quest, and it says note there will be spoilers within the proceed caution. But then it says here, but that quest is even big. Update is big. Bigger than the first two by the looks of it. Mike, yeah, this list is big. And then text and localization, and then yeah. What else? What's this? User interface. Well, user interface is no joke. That list is huge. So yeah, this update list is big, man. It took me took me 44 minutes just to get through the first two, because the list was so big. So yeah. But what this just shows you though is that how big video games are getting, and how much work these developers are putting in, and how much work they have to put in when it comes to updates and expansions. Yeah, Starfield just proved how big video games are getting, man. So, by the looks of this, Bethesda is getting Starfield up where it needs to be, like how CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk. So yeah, now that you got FSR out now, yeah, FSR 3. DLSS 3. Oh yeah, and then there's a direct SR coming from Microsoft, so that should help too. So yeah, this update list is big, man. It just shows how much work. It shows you how big games are getting, how big the environments are, and how much work these developers are really putting into these games, so they can be played, so the customer can play them. So yeah, all I can say on this update is good work, Bethesda. Keep pushing, keep grinding, keep up the good work, keep updating this game. But this list is big. It took me 44 minutes just to read the first two paragraphs, but then read the first two updates. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty big, man. So yeah, they made a lot of changes, so yeah, video games, people, they are getting big, and Starfield just proved it. Yeah, 500 bug fixes. And when I sat there and read the first two updates, yeah. So it's a lot of work these developers are putting into these games, man. So people that are getting mad at developers about, let's say, Suicide Squad, Redfall, or even Anthem, the Avengers need some work, and the Avengers needs to be more open. But yeah, these games are getting big, and they're getting expensive too. So there's no slowing down, So yeah. But anyway, Starfield got their new update, and it is big. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars and Star Trek playing. Boy, Dark Side. Oh my God. Peace.